So, very good morning to all the students. Today we are going to discuss the module 5 from our project management syllabus. This particular module deals with basically three aspects of project management. The syllabus, if you refer, the three aspects which are given, they are execution of the project, then monitoring and controlling of the project, and third part is related to the project contracting or contracting in the project. So this is the syllabus for this particular module. As I told, the module has been divided into three parts: project execution, monitoring and controlling of the projects, and project contracting. So in execution of the project, this particular phase, what we have to understand is how to go for planning the monitoring and controlling cycle, information needs and reporting, then engaging with all stakeholders of the project, team management, communication, and project meetings. So this is some of the syllabus which is given for project execution part. Then in monitoring and controlling the projects, we have to go for understanding earned value management techniques for measuring value of the work completed, using milestones for measurement, change request, scope creep, and project audit. Okay, so this particular earned value management techniques, this requires or this involves some numerical problems. So as discussed earlier, we will first of all complete the theoretical foundation concepts from this particular module, and then at once we are going for dealing with the numerical problems related to this. And third part which is to be covered is related to project contracting. It is basically with respect to project procurement management, contracting, and outsourcing in the project. So let us go with the first point which is given in the syllabus, that is about the executing project. So whenever we discuss about executing project, so this particular phase, as if you remember the project life cycle and the various process groups, then executing process group was having the highest level of interaction. If you remember that diagram, the chart which was giving level of interaction and the project life cycle and various process groups, then this executing process group was having the maximum level of interaction because there are so many activities involved in actual execution of the project. So this particular phase, executing project phase, this consists of those all processes which are required to perform to complete the work defined in project management plan to satisfy the project specifications. So as we know that there are various phases in project life cycle, like you have initiating phase, then planning phase, executing, monitoring and control, and closing. So whatever we decide in the planning phase, whatever we discuss and chalk out the plan for initiating phase, these all activities where we are going to perform them, they will be performed in the execution of the project stage. So that's why this particular phase, this will be involved uh, coordinating with the people, coordinating the resources, managing the stakeholder expectations, as well as integrating and performing the activities of the project in accordance with the project management plan. So in this particular phase, a lot of coordination is required because you are going for execution of variety of activities, and when there are variety of activities involved, these activities will require the support from people as well as the support of the resources in your organization. So that's why in this execution phase there is a tremendous amount of work with respect to coordination of the human and non-human resources. Again, in this particular phase, the stakeholders, they will be always having their observation, they will be always having their interest in how your project is going on. So they will have their certain expectations from the projects. So we have to take into account that when you are executing the project, the stakeholders expectations, they will be managed properly in the execution of your project. And then what we have to do is we have to go for perform the activities, that is one part, at the same time we have to also integrate the various activities, because performing activity is one way of doing the work. People who are given the responsibility of certain activities, they will be trying to perform their own activities as per the plan which is given to them. But these activities, they should not be performed in isolation, they should not be performed alone. Whenever they are getting performed, they should be also integrated with other activities, because the activities may be interdependent, they may be dependent on each other, the resources which are required, they may be common. So because of which the integration of the activities is very essential, and simply performing and integrating the activities is not sufficient. What we have to make sure, whatever we are doing, that is going in accordance with the project management plan or not. So that is also very important. Our train should not get derailed because the things are not moving in the project management plan whatever it has been specified. So every time during the execution phase, the project management plan should be referred as the reference document, and each and every activity what we are doing, that should be checked with the project management plan, that how it should be performed and whether it is performing as specified in the project management plan or not. During the project execution, result may require planning the updates and re-baselining. So sometimes what happens is, the whatever plan we have prepared, so that plan may need to get modified, that plan may need to have updations because of certain disturbances, certain practical difficulties. So that thing should be kept in mind, that whenever you feel that because of certain obstacles, certain distractions, certain barriers, certain difficulties in the execution of your project, whatever we have planned, that may need to get updated. So your project plan, it must get updated, and sometimes there must be some baselines what we have defined earlier. There may be some baseline decided, or baseline which is marked for cost. There may be some baseline which has been marked for schedule. There may be some baseline which is marked for the scope, some baseline which is marked for quality. So whatever we say, these are the four basic objectives: cost, schedule, then scope and quality. Then for each of them there will be some baseline which is marked, some specific, that we have to make sure that this will be the baseline for these all properties of your project. So sometimes that baseline may need to get revisited, it may need to get modified because of some different issues in your project. This may include changes to expected activity durations, change in resource productivity and availability, and anticipated risk. Such variance may affect the project management plan or project documents and may require detailed analysis and development of appropriate project management responses. So this variation in, because we plan something and when we execute we come to know that the things are not going as per the plan because of some or the other reasons. So this particular variation, that is definitely going to affect your project management plan, and also it is going to affect the various project documents which are related to that particular activity. And because of this, we may have to go for detailed analysis, and then we have to develop appropriate project management responses. The result of the analysis can trigger change requests that, if approved, may modify the project management plan or other project documents and possibly require establishing new baselines. So it is not like that somebody will feel and he will go for modifying the project management plan or the project documents. If it is required, then a proper change request, it should be generated. That change request should go to the concerned authorities for approval, and if those authorities are approving that change request, then accordingly the project management plan may get modified with the change request whatever has been proposed, and similarly other project documents can also get modified, and maybe some new baselines they will get established. a large portion of the project's budget will be expended in project execution processes. So as we know, the duration over which the project execution phase is spread, at the same time the level of interactions the project execution phase is having, and the variety of activities, maximum number of activities they are involved in executing phase. That's why if you try to understand the distribution of project budget for various phases of project life cycle, then we come to know that a maximum portion of your project budget that is consumed, that is expended on the activities which are in project execution processes. Then coming to the next part, that is planning, monitoring and controlling cycle. The key things to be planned, monitored and controlled are time, cost and performance. So these are three very fundamental objectives of any project. So cost is important or budget is important, the schedule or time is important, and the performance or specifications of your project and product. These are very essential and fundamental objectives of your project. The planning, that is budgeting and scheduling phase, needs a significantly greater investment of time and energy early in the life of the project, but they significantly reduce the extent and cost of poor performance and time or cost overruns. So normally what happens is, for any, the basic management philosophy is we should invest more of our time in planning so that the execution will not take much time and there will be no need of going for rework because our plan is foolproof. If we spend less time in planning, if the planning is not proper, then in execution part we face many difficulties, we go for many reworks, we go for many activities to be changed, and there the things are very dynamic, the things are very unstable. Rather than that, if you go for planning the things properly, if you invest more time on planning the activities, especially with respect to the budget of project and with respect to the schedule of project, then this will save very huge amount of your energy, which is normally going in the time overrun or cost overrun, and also the cost of poor performance of your project. There is no guarantee of a trouble-free project, merely a decline in the risk of failure. So any project, we cannot assure that there will be no trouble, there will not be any hurdle, there will not be any barrier to your project, there will be no difficulty to your project. So every project may have certain troubles. So only what we can have is, we can just go for reducing the risk of failure. We can go for minimizing the effect of the risk of failure. It is useful to pursue the control process as a closed loop system with revised plans and schedules following the corrective actions. So all of you have understood the control system part in your third year. So whenever we see about the control system, there are two types of control systems, open loop and closed loop system. As you all know that in open loop system there is no feedback, but in closed loop system there is feedback and corrective actions to have the output in line with whatever is our requirement. So same thing in project management also, we should ensure that we will follow a closed loop type of pattern where there will be a feedback, there will be corrective action, and because of the corrective action the plans can get revised, the schedules can get revised, and your project will be in line with the required or requirement whatever we have. The planning, monitoring, controlling cycle is continuously in process until the project is completed. So this planning, monitoring and controlling cycle is not a one-time exercise. This planning, monitoring and controlling cycle is continuously working, because every time we have to monitor the activities, we have to control the activities, we have to change our plan, again we have to go for a replan of the activities, again it should be monitored, again it should be controlled. So it is an iterative process. It goes on continuously working on the various activities which you are having in your project execution stage. Another part in this planning, monitoring, and controlling cycle is discussion on the various steps. So the first step in setting up any monitoring system is to identify the key factors which are to be controlled. So the project manager wants to monitor basic parameters like performance of project, cost of the project, and time. But he must define precisely which specific characteristics of performance, cost, and time should be controlled, and then establish exact boundaries within which the control should be maintained. So the project manager has a significant role in this monitoring system of your project during the project execution, or when the activities are actually getting executed. So he must monitor the basic parameters like performance of your project, the cost should be monitored, and the time consumed by the activities, it should be monitored. But simply monitoring is not sufficient. There must be certain boundaries which should be defined, which should be marked for the performance, for the cost, for the time, so that you can have the monitoring and controlling action. Because we know that what are the boundaries, what are the limitations for the performance, cost, and time, and whether our process will be exceeding those boundaries or it will be within those particular boundaries. The best sources of items to be monitored are the project action plan and the risk management plan. So two things we have to monitor. One is project action plan, how actually your project is in action, and the risk management plan, because most of the time the project performance, cost, and time, these things may have trouble, may get hampered because of the risks which are coming into picture. So that's why we should also take into account what is the risk management plan. The action plan describes what is being done when and the planned level of resource usage for each task, work package, and work element in the project. So that is nothing but everything which is related to actual execution of the various activities. What we are doing, when we are doing, what is the planned level of resource use for each task in that particular activity, the work package, what are the various activities involved, and work elements, the simple smaller elements whatever are there in that particular work. So these things will be clearly described in your action plan. So that's why this action plan is one of the major document which is a source for this planning, monitoring, and controlling cycle. Monitoring the risk found in risk management plan keeps the project manager and project team alert to specific risk and thus lowers the probability of surprises. So as we have also understood the risk management process, there is one step in risk management process is identification of the risk and then preparation of the risk register. So as this project team will have a thorough understanding of which are the probable risks in your project, what are their characteristics, and the various probable response plans that can be offered to that particular risk. These all things will be documented in your risk register, which we have already discussed. Now, when this will be ready with you, it will be easier for the project manager and project team that they will be alert to specific risk, because they are knowing that the probability of this risk occurrence is very high, or they will be understanding that if this particular risk is occurring, its impact on project objectives is very high, and they will be prepared for mitigating or responding those particular risks. Thus lowers the probability of surprises. So there will be less surprises. They will be already anticipating that what are the that a particular risk is going to affect your project. The monitoring system is a direct connection between planning and control. So this monitoring is nothing but an intermediate stage between the planning and control. You plan something and you wish to control that particular activity. So for controlling, what is necessary is there must be monitoring. Monitoring will give guidelines about what is to be controlled and what is not to be controlled. What is needing controlling action and what is not needing any controlling action, that we will come to know only through the monitoring. And monitoring will be very accurate, or monitoring will be very efficient if it is backed with the project management plan or the planning activity, because monitoring will be comparing. Monitoring is nothing but it is a feedback loop in your closed loop system. It will monitor and generate a feedback for what is the error, what is the variation, what is the difference between the planned and the actual execution, and then the controlling action can be executed or it can be generated. The next part is about the information needs and reporting. So in your execution of the project, there is always need of the information transfer from various authorities. Either the information needs to be or the information needs to be transferred across the various levels in your organization. So this information need, who needs the information, how the information should be circulated, and some kind of mechanism for reporting. So whenever we say reporting, reporting is normally from the lower level to the upper level. You need to report to someone who is at higher authority, who is at the leadership authority. So the subordinates or the people who are at the executive level, they may need to go for reporting to their supervisors, to their senior managers, to their higher authorities, and also for executing various activities. They will need certain information, and that information, providing that particular information, will be responsibility of their higher authorities. That appropriate information is given to the executive level so that he will be able to perform that particular task. So everyone concerned with the project should be appropriately tied into the project reporting system. The monitoring system ought to be constructed so that it addresses every level of management, but reports need not be the same depth or at the same frequency for each level. So reporting is a different kind of interaction. When we are thinking about the reporting, so what type of reporting we should do, whether the reporting is in depth or the reporting should be only about the results, or the reporting should be only at the superficial level, the frequency at which we are reporting, whether the frequency should be every shift, every day, or weekly once or monthly once, depending upon what type of information we are reporting. So lower level personnel have a need for detailed information about individual tasks and the factors affecting such tasks. So the people who are at the lowest level or working at lower levels, what they will require is, whatever task is assigned to them, they will need the detailed information about what that task is all about, because they will be responsible to work out or carry out the works related to that particular task. And then they should also know what are the various factors which are affecting that task, because those factors they will take into account when they are performing their duty. Report frequency is usually high. For the senior management level, overview reports describe projects in more aggregated terms with less individual task detail, unless senior management has a special interest in specific activity or task. So when it comes to the senior management level, the reports will be like overview. They will need to give overview of what are the various functions, what are the various activities going on in their domain, in their area of subject or area of working. So they need to give a report for the overall performance of various people, various departments which are working under them. So that can be an overview of the entire work, and the activity, the frequency for reporting may not be very high. It may be like once in a week they will be reporting, but for executive level they need to report at higher frequency. Maybe every day or every shift, they will be required to submit their reports. Reports are issued less often in senior management case. In both cases, the structure of the report should reflect the work breakdown structure, with each managerial level receiving reports that allow the exercise of control at the relevant level. So when we have the work breakdown structure with us, then we come to know that to which authority the report should be submitted, and that particular authority should have the level of authority so that he will be able to exercise some control at his own level. At times, it may be necessary to move information between the organization as illustrated in the figure, as well as between managerial levels. So sometimes you may need to transfer the information from one organization to the another organization as per the requirement. Sometimes the information may need to pass between the various managerial levels. So in next slide, we'll have a diagram. So you can see this is a kind of diagram. You are having a company. So there are various levels and positions in your company. Vice President for Ventures, then Marketing Head, Steering Committee, Project Manager, Technical Assistant. These are the various committees, people, and human resources which are involved. Then you have some consultant, and the consultant is also having some project manager which is assigned to you. Then there are some people who are working under this project manager. So you can see there are multiple paths, and these multiple paths, they have been denoted as the dotted lines, which is giving the idea about what is the flow of information between the various levels. Either the flow of information may be from the lower level to upper level, or at the same level, or from the upper level to the lower level. Depending upon the requirement, the information can be transferred at the various levels of your organization. Information needs and reporting. The proliferation of electronic mechanism along with wide array of software have made the process of collecting and disseminating information much faster. So like earlier days, now there is no hard copy transfer of the information. Most of the information is processed, it is transferred through the online media or the e-media, we can say, and it has made the work very easier, and the collection, dissemination, processing of the data, processing of the information has become much simpler as compared to the earlier days. In addition to its use for conducting the routine of project management, internet is a rich source of information, including building codes, database on almost anything, the yellow pages for practically anywhere, patent information, and technical aid for managing the project, to mention only a small fraction of readily available information. Like in today's session also, initially when we discussed about the preparation of yourself for your examination, then what we said is the information you can access through the internet. Only thing what you have to take into account is that information is from some authentic source or not. That we have to take into account, and if it is from some authentic source, some authentic books, then you can readily use that particular information. So internet is a very rich source of information. So nowadays, whenever we celebrate the Teachers' Day, we say that Google is the best teacher for today's world, because anything you need, you just go to Google, type it, some keywords, and you get n number of pages which are related to that particular keyword what you have entered in the search engine. So because of that, a huge amount of information is already available on internet, and that can be used. Only we have to take into account the authenticity and the validity of that particular information. Many current project management software packages allow easy connection to the internet and email to transmit the information, action plans, charts, networks, and reports practically anywhere. The material can be altered or updated or returned to the sender with minimal effort beyond that needed to move the information to the next qubit. Like nowadays, most of the people they work using Google Drive, and we go for Google Sheets, so that if the Google Sheet is shared to many people, they can just go on putting their information, and everybody will be able to visualize what work has been done by which type of people, which type of authority, what they have entered, and the information will be available to all these within a click, because that will be a dynamic source of uh, maintaining the documentation for your project. Similarly, the softwares like MS Project, Primavera, which are mostly used for project management, so they will be used by the teams which are sitting in various geographical conditions, various different offices across the globe, but the people they are working on a same project. So it is necessary that all these people they should have access to the documentation, to the project management plan, to the various activities you are doing, the networks, the charts, the reports, whatever you are preparing, and everybody should be able to contribute, and should be able to view, edit, and make that particular document, make his contribution to that particular piece of information. So that's why the project management software package should allow that it should be connected to the internet, and it should be available to the concerned people for editing and viewing that particular information. Information needs and reporting. The relationship of project reports to the project action plan or work breakdown structure is the key to determination of both report content and frequency. The report must contain data relevant to the control of specific tasks that are being carried out according to specific schedule. Frequency of reporting should be great enough to allow control to be exerted during or before the period in which the task is scheduled for completion. So that frequency of reporting is very essential. The frequency of reporting should allow the it should be during or before the period in which your task is going to be completed. In addition to the criteria that reports should be available in time to be used for project control, the timing of reports should be generally correspond to timing of project milestones. So in your project, you should plan for certain milestone, you should go for deciding certain milestones, and you can assign that at each milestone what are the various informations that are needed, what are the various reports they are essential. Reports should be scheduled in the project management plan. So when you are going for project management or project plan, you should also indicate that at what stage, what type of reports they are necessary, what type of information it is necessary. Identification of project milestone depends on who is interested. For senior management, there may be only few milestones even in large project, but for the project manager, there may be many critical points in project schedule at which major decisions must be made. Large changes in the resource base must be initiated or key technical results achieved. The milestones relevant to lower levels relate to finer details and occur with high frequency. Senior managers have widely varying preferences in the frequency and content of reports they wish to see. So depending upon at what level you are working in your organization, you may have different milestones. For a very senior manager, they will only have few milestones. They will only uh, observe that particular project at some few important stages. For project manager, he will be having the observation and monitoring of your project throughout the life cycle. So there will be many critical points. There will be very significant role of the project manager in your execution of the project. But the lower levels, if you consider, they will have many milestones. They will have the frequency will be very high because they are actually executing the work. The types of reports for project management purpose, there are basically three types: routine reports, exception reports, and special analysis reports. When we say about the routine reports, they are issued on regular basis, and they will be containing the information which is routine execution kind of information, just supplying the data which is about the day-to-day work which is happening. So senior management, the reports will be usually periodic, but for the project manager and lower level project personnel, milestones may be used to trigger the routine reports. When we go for exception reports, they are usually useful in two cases. First, they are directly oriented to project management decision making and should be distributed to the team members who will have prime responsibility for a decision or who have a clear need to know for that particular activity. Secondly, they may be issued when decision is made on an exception basis and it is desirable to inform other managers as well as document that particular decision. So these exception reports, they are prepared in two different cases. Whenever you are going to take any decision, so you will be uh, taking the reports from your team members, and sometimes you have already taken a decision and it is required to be transferred to the other managers, or you need to go for document that particular decision. So that is another kind of report. And third kind of report is special analysis report. These are used for disseminating the result of special studies conducted as a part of project or as a response to special problems that arise during the project. Okay. So regarding the next part, we will